more diagrammatic and more convincing way of communication rather than just putting sentences and words. I don't use PowerPoint as my software. I use another software called as Keynote because I work on Mac. But it all goes by the same saying, right? So please see to it as to how to prepare a PowerPoint presentation as well as we go through this. I wish to make it very clear that I have not come here to teach you people anything. Just share and learn in the process. And we continue to learn in our lifetime. This is what climate change people talk about. People talk about climate change. But when I look at climate change, supposing there is a human being, he meets with an accident. In the accident, the leg is amputated. If I can give back his own leg, it is called as restoration. Can I give back his leg? Impossible. So what I do, I give a wooden leg, and that is called as rehabilitation. The first thing we have to learn in ecology is many people, especially many government agencies as well as NGOs, say that lake restoration, forest restoration, land restoration, nobody can restore nature. We can only rehabilitate ourselves so that the nature restores itself. COVID is a typical example where you find nature restoring itself. Nature knows how to restore itself. Human beings cannot restore nature. Please be very clear when we work with ecology. And this can be through two ways. One way is where we try to do something, cooperate with nature, where we try to reduce plastic use, we stop burning things, we use less transport and things like that. Or we just don't bother and adapt ourselves. The choice is ours. In the present day, our environment is attacked by major bullets, and there are 6 major bullets which are attacking our environment, and they are solid waste. That's number one. Solid waste keeps attacking. Effluents, even domestic effluents, industrial effluents, various types of wastewaters which are attacking our environment. Encroachment of prime ecological areas in the name of development. You have various patterns because some of these slides get supported here. We use the hazardous chemicals, the soil use patterns, the hazardous chemicals, and the water use pattern. Because we mismanaged all these, which we will see in the course of time, that this friend has come to threaten us, and that's COVID-19. So shall we start thinking different? Basically, I'm a zoologist, so I use animals as examples. So can we think different from what people think otherwise? This has been a major problem for me because most of you are from science and you're going to teach science as well. We have this bad habit of classifying things as living and non-living. We do it right from school. Children, we teach them living, non-living. We tell air is non-living. And we tell children that we are living. We never tell children that if we remove the non-living air from our body, we become non-living. Water is non-living. We are living. Remove the non-living water from my body, I become non-living. That's a beautiful interrelationship that exists between living and non-living, which we fail to tell children. You have to respect the non-living components if you really want to live. Along with these 3, we include the fire and the space, and we call it as Panchabhutas in our culture. That's our ecosystem. Beautiful birds, butterflies, animals, plants, we, human beings, all put together. And you must understand how we have tried to spoil the ecosystem. Between 1st January and 31st October, we have consumed so many tons of chocolate. You may tell me, sir, why do you quote chocolate? I quote chocolate because some people feel that non-vegetarian food consumes more water than vegetarian food. Yes, I agree. But people who eat chocolate, please remember that chocolates consume more water than non-vegetarian food. So that is the maximum water consuming thing because you have to grow cocoa plants to produce cocoa and you require dairy milk to produce milk And these two combine together to produce chocolate. So maximum, it's almost 20,000 liters of water per kg of chocolate is being utilized. So our aims are all wrongly placed. In the same way, we have this habit of this toilet paper. Many of us, I have seen with my own eyes, you go to a restaurant or you go to the airport, people, when they go to the washroom or restroom, after washing their hand, I do not know what makes them feel. They just put 1, 2, 3, 4, just wipe their hand, throw the paper and go away. Paper is resourced from wood, wood is resourced from trees, and trees are being grown for that purpose. Right? So many kilometers of toilet paper has been wasted. And worst of all, so many tons of cooked food has been wasted. Is it justified? Is it justified? Please start thinking as we proceed. That's the magic word today. Eco. Everybody talks about eco. Fine. Eco means home. ECO. Eco is derived from the Greek word oikos, which means home. Vid, illam, makan, ghar. If I study about eco, it is called as ecology. If I evaluate my home, it is economy. The problem today is a clash between these two, ecology versus economy. And in this clash, something burns. What burns is the ecology. Because people want money. That's biodiversity. Bio means life, diversity means variety. We, India, we are very, very rich in biodiversity. Please remember that. We in India, we are very, very rich in biodiversity. All these belongs to our country. Not only one. You take one vegetable, there are several varieties of it. You take a tomato, there are several varieties of tomato. You take brinjal, several varieties of brinjal. You take any vegetable in our country, you have varieties in it. Varieties in it. We have lovely flowers in our country. We have beautiful birds in our country. We have magnificent animals in our country. All these belong to our country. You can read it for yourself. The problem happened when the Westerners or the Europeans, especially the Britishers when they came to India, they started coining different terms. They started coining cowpea, pigeon pea, chickpea, horse gram. And we thought animals are supposed to be eating it, whereas they are essential food for human beings. For those from Tamil Nadu, cowpea is tattapair, pigeon pea is patani, chickpea is your kadala sundal, and horse gram is kollu, which are very, very, very essential for us for our diet. But we have started ignoring them. And today, horse gram powder is ground, liquid extracted, and sold in bottles, half a liter, 400 rupees, if you want to reduce cholesterol, if you want certain things. So, all this natural biodiversity in our country, that is where these animals come into conflict. Bos indicus is our Indian cattle. Bos taurus is Western cattle. Now, today the new classification has come. It is Bos taurus taurus and Bos taurus indicus. The Indian bull or the cow will have a slight hump on the back. The Western animals don't have a hump on their back. I don't want to go into the classifications of A1 milk, A2 milk, and all those things at this point of time. But this basic classification is very important to understand because we have the Desi and the Pardesi animals in our country. So the Desi animal, especially the girl, is one of the most beautiful things. But unfortunately, today's science and technology is wrongly being implemented in ecology, where sperm sexing technology is being brought in. What is sperm sexing technology? I don't want bulls, they are all waste. So I want only cows to be born. And we all know that mammals, they carry autosomes, that is our body chromosomes, and we also produce sex chromosomes or germplasm chromosomes. So, including human beings, we have the males produce two types of sperms, the X sperm and the Y sperm, whereas the females produce only one type of ovum, and that is X. If X fertilizes with X, it is a female calf. If X of the female fertilizes with the Y sperm of the male, it produces a male calf. So now a new technology has come called a sperm sexing technology, where the sperms will get segregated They will collect the sample from the bulls, sperms from the bulls, segregate them to technology. All the Y sperms will be thrown away. Only the X sperms will be used in straws. Straws are artificial fertilization for cattle. It's called as straw. Will be converted into straws, which will be used for fertilizing the cows, so that only female cows will be born. I don't understand whose idea it was, because this can completely affect the gene pool. And today in our own country, the following states are going to have centers, and we have already sanctioned 475 crores about a decade back for this purpose. It starts with cattle. There will be more animals to join. I don't want to mention all the animals. The second is poultry. If you look at poultry, this was chicken. This was chicken. Today we call it as country chicken. Our own biodiversity, we label and throw it away as something else, and we call this today as chicken. Today we call this as chicken, and this chicken, when I was young, in 70 days, it used to stand in attention. Today, in 48 days, it stands in standard tears, unable to bear its own weight. Why? Excessive use of hormones and antibiotics. I have lovely videos about it. I'm not using all the videos because sometimes WebEx hangs because of bandwidth, right? So only selective few videos alone I'm trying to show. My humble request to all the participants is, that's the reason we have requested you to switch off your video cameras, because even in spite of it, sometimes it may hang. If it hangs, please permit me, I'll switch off and switch on again. So don't worry about it. And that is fish. That is fish. This is fish. Okay. Kausalya ma'am, will you please switch off your mic? Thank you. This is freshwater fish. This is very, very popular in our country. Dr. Kaushalya, please switch off mic. Yeah. These are the very, very common marine fish. These are the very, very common marine fish. We all know that. Very popular fish. But unfortunately, today in the market, we import this fish from Thailand and Indonesia. Please understand what is happening with our own biodiversity. Now, this is a catfish cultured in freshwaters. In these countries, where the skin is peeled, the bone is removed, and fillets are made. And these fillets are treated with chemicals to bleach them, and then come as a pack, ice pack. Now, this is sold in Chennai for about 200 rupees a kilo, when the Indian fish would be available for 400 to 600 rupees a kilo. So major restaurants buy this fish, thaw it, make it very soft. It would look good if you serve it as such. So they beautifully wrap it up with corn flour and other things, ingredients, and serve lovely on a plate. And we like it. I'm not against taking fish. When you go to the restaurant next time, ask for a slice of fish where you find the bone. Simple things. Simple. So please understand what is happening around us. The next very important thing which you must understand, which we must understand. Here is a bird taking nectar from the flower. At the same time, there's an insect asking for a lift with the bird so that it wants to go to the next flower faster. Brother, give me a lift. I want to go fast. If I eliminate this bird, not one, but the species, in the course of time, the plants with which it was associated will vanish. The insects which were associated will also vanish. Today, this bird is missing. Today, this bird is missing. Henceforth, future, the plants associated with this bird will go missing. The insects associated will go missing. So one species lost in one generation will be several species cumulative in future. Please understand these nuances. There's nothing wrong when we see a butterfly drinking nectar. Unfortunately, there are no nectar flowers today. So what does a butterfly drink? Ma. If this continues, then in future, squirrels will be eating lollipops. Please understand the nuances as to why COVID comes in. Here is an animal, tiger, our national animal. A tiger, for example, I'm just telling it as an example, eats one deer, hunts and eats one deer. It may not eat for that whole week, which means for 1 week, one deer is required for one tiger. Usually there's not one tiger over there. Okay, fine. Now, one tiger requires one deer. Now, if that is the case, in 1 year, the tiger requires 52 deers. If one tiger has to remove 52 deers from the population every year, there should at least be 520 deers in the population every time. To breed, to multiply, to provide a deer to the tiger. If there should be 520 deers in that forest, there should be at least 5,200 hectares or acres of land with good soil on which good fodder is growing, on which the deer will graze. We are not bothered about the soil. We are not bothered about the fodder. We are not bothered about the deer, but we want to protect the tiger. I hope you're able to understand the concepts. The same thing happens with this human-animal conflict with Chinnathambi, elephant. Now, this elephant was called as a wanderer because there are lots of problems happening. Please understand, as a layman as well, that each elephant requires. I had a lovely video of the corridor, but I'm sorry, I'm not able to use it now. The elephant, each elephant roughly requires 1 square kilometer area, 1 square kilometer area per day, where it can just walk around, eat what it wants, drink water, come back. And I had a corridor picture where I could see at least about 150, 200 elephants walking in the corridor. Now, these elephants, when they walk, they start their journey happily. They go on eating, drinking, walk around the place, come back approximately in 1 year, back to the place where they had come by the time the leaves again grow. Now, this pathway in which they walk is called as the elephant corridor. We have constructed resorts, we have constructed important things across them, and we tell the animal not to walk. But what does the animal do? It crosses and walks. And what does the media say? Attagasam seyyum yanai pidikka muyarchi. That means the elephant is creating a problem. Now, who created the problem? I hope you're able to get the point now. So, the elephants were to walk through that way. The animals used to walk through that way. We have cut the way and we have put a path. So once we put a path, we have our own domestic homes coming up. We have our own farms coming up. We have our resorts coming up. People start coming up. There is always some microbial or arthropodal pest or insect or mite or whatever it is, a virus or bacteria, which attacks these mammals, the grown-up mammals. Now, when those mammals are eliminated, they look for other mammals. And when other mammals are not available, the easiest victim is Homo sapien, that is human being. Please understand what happens. We just keep blaming other things. This particular concept of moving away animals from there so that we can live can create a resource for zoonotic diseases. Now, what is zoonosis or zoonotic diseases? Diseases which come from animals to us are called as zoonotic diseases. They can also come from pets if you're not going to maintain your pets properly. Whether it's a cat or a bird or a dog or whatever it is, we got to maintain them. If we don't maintain them properly, there's a problem of something or other attacking human beings. That's what has happened with the present crisis. On the other side, that's our cattle. That's our cattle. It used to be part of our system. Perfect. We used to use it for plowing. We used the cow dung and we prepared cow dung patties. And then we also prepared lots of manure from it. I hope you all know about this cow dung patties, which in Tamil are called as varieties, right? Upli or upla. Then the biogas came. Now, after biogas, this fellow came. Once the tractor came in, we said, we don't need you anymore. We don't need animals anymore. The worst thing which happened in our country was to eliminate animals from agriculture. Yes, tractor can plow the soil, but tractor cannot give us dung. Tractor cannot give us dung. The cow's dung went into the soil system to generate organic matter. So when this heavy machinery goes on the soil, you can look at the soil gets compacted. And as the soil gets compacted, the soil organisms start moving away. They start vanishing. And that's the tree. It gives us all these benefits. It gives us all these benefits. Please understand that each one of us inhale average 550 liters of oxygen per day. Today, market rate of a 2.75 liter oxygen cylinder is 6,500 rupees. So each one of us every day is inhaling 13 lakh rupees worth of oxygen. And one tree at an average produces 24 crore rupees worth of oxygen per year. Now, how do we calculate this? This is calculated based on an average output of oxygen and things like that from the plants. But what is this branch called as? This branch is called as ecological economics. This is a new branch which gives economic value for a natural resource. Because people, when you tell them, one tree only, so what, cut it out. But if you tell them that it produces something worth 24 crores per year, people may realize the worth of a natural resource. Because people have forgotten the values of natural resource. People look, by cutting a tree, I can get money. But when I cut a tree, the soil goes barren. And when the rain comes, the soil splashes. And all this topsoil goes away through the rivers into the sea. Please understand, participants, nature or God, nature takes at least minimum, average minimum is 400 years to generate 1 inch of topsoil. 400 years to generate 1 inch of topsoil. So by deforestation, the entire topsoil gets washed away. When I tell this, people say, so what? Soil is also a non-living. Air is non-living, water is non-living, soil is non-living. Yes, soil is non-living. Because when I tell soil is living, the moment I tell that, people ask me, if it is living, does the soil have a digestive system? Fine. I find a dog lying dead on the surface of the soil. I pass through that road 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, I get a bad smell. But if I dig a pit, put the dog, bury it, do I get the smell? What is happening inside? Decomposing. Who is decomposing? Microorganisms like bacteria. Who is there in your intestine and my intestine? Bacteria. So when I have a system which I can call as a digestive system where bacteria are doing their job, presume logically that soil also has a digestive system. People ask whether soil has a respiratory system. Just like we take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide, soil also takes in oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide. So soil has a respiratory system. And they say respiratory system, okay, but does it have a circulatory system? Well, if you are walking somewhere and you hit your toe, leg toe, at the foot, badly hit, the doctor gives you a tablet. Do we put the tablet in the mouth or do we feed it to the leg? We put in the mouth. How does the medicine reach there? The circulatory system takes the medicine to the toe. Clear? Fair enough. You have plants at home, you have pots at home, you water them. Do you pull the plant every day and feed the root? No. I put it on the top. I put compost on the top. Then how does the material go to the roots? It goes to the roots because there are beautiful channels created by soil organisms which take the material to the roots. Okay, sir. Agreed. But does it have an excretory system? Fair enough. I go to the toilet because I want to throw away unwanted chemicals, especially salts. Urea is a salt which I throw out. Same way, sodic soils and saline soils, they don't take the salt inside. They bring the salt and throw it outside, on top of the soil. So soil logically has an excretory system. Then people ask me, okay, sir, does it have a reproductive system? You all know about IVF. Today, lots of fertility clinics, you have heard about it. So the sperm, the ovum, after fertilizing the zygote, you cannot keep it in an incubator. You have to keep it in the uterus of a mother, a woman, for the baby to grow. So your tissue culture plants, forget hydroponics, it's an exception. The tissue culture plants have to be planted in the soil for the plants to grow. So soil has a reproductive system. I used to talk about this for a long time and it occurred to me whether soil has a brain. That is very important because I was very poor in mathematics and my school teacher, maths teacher always used to tell me, there is soil in my head. Fine. If that is so, the soil have a brain. And my research over a period of time, I felt soil has a brain. When I dig a pit and put any dead leaves or biomass into it, it decomposes. It decomposes. But if I put a seed into it, it germinates. A soil can distinguish what it has to decompose and what it has to germinate. So soil has a brain. This beautiful, lovely soil gives an aroma, which is called as manvasane, mitti ki khushbu. This lovely smell is because of the humus and the organic matter in the soil. Our country, because it's a tropical country, at an average, should have 2 to 5% of organic matter in its soil. And I'm sorry to tell that today, our national average is 0.4%. We have to improve organic matter in our soils. People always say, so what, sir? Fertility is there. I'm sorry to say that today fertility is related with fertilizers. I'm not exaggerating. Just take any soil you have, go and give it to any KVK or soil testing lab of the government. Have your soil analyzed. You will get a report. That report will say N, nitrogen, P, K, so much value, pH, EC, micronutrients. And in the last para, they will write, please add so much of urea, phosphate, DAP, potash, all those chemicals they will write. So fertilizer is related with soil fertility. So we who work against use of a lot of chemicals, we call it as soil health. தமிழ்ல மண் வளம் கிடையாது மண் நலம். And today it has been proved beyond doubt that nutrient depleted soils can yield fruits with chemicals, can eat nutrients or nutrition through chemicals, but do not provide the necessary material to keep us healthy. Today we are devoid of immunity. I hope you are able to understand the entire cycle which has been happening around us. This slide I happen to see now awareness coming into Western countries. They published it, so I just took that slide. But this was told to me long, long ago by our Siddha practitioners when we started working with composting. And our Siddha practitioners used to tell us, "Innathan theriyala sir, whatever we grow through organic inputs and produce, that plant has more impact, health, better health benefits than those plants which are grown in chemicals." There are several reasons. We will see them as we go through. People talk about food security. What is food security? Food security has three components. Number one, availability. Number two, access. Number three, utilization. Availability. We have enough food. India has enough storage. Access. Do we have it? I am leaving a lot of question marks. I'm not going to give you answers at all. With several migrants and people dying on the roads today, we have availability, but no access to food. If those people who have access to food, do you have nutritious food? Do we have nutritious food? I'm leaving all question marks. These are all question marks, especially for the younger teachers who are guiding students, to many of the youngsters who are also listening to this, to direct your research towards these components. We have contributed enough. What best can you carry it forward? Start thinking. We use millions of tons of chemical fertilizers and pesticides in our country. And if you look at it, all Asian countries, I work with a lot of Asian countries and the Eastern countries. People claim, the governments claim that our production is increasing. But you go and ask a farmer, production per acre or per hectare has started decreasing after 2000. For those people from Tamil Nadu, for you people, I'm trying to tell, ஒரு காலத்துல ஒரு ஏக்கருக்கு 30-32 மூட்டை அறுவடை பண்ணோம். ஆனா இன்னைக்கு 25-26 மூட்டை தான் அறுவடை பண்ண முடியுது. Exceptions are there here and there, but otherwise this is the general trend. And we add so much of chemicals into them that these chemicals get drained into the water. And it's the same water which becomes the groundwater. And we find several children who are in rural areas where this water is again drawn from the well, is highly contaminated with nitrates, which highly affects the health of the child and loses the immunity of the child. We are only looking at the top people. We are not looking at what's happening inside the ecosystem. This is a typical example I'm trying to tell you. Happened to visit a farmer in Madanapalli. Wonderful guy. He has a lovely farm. And in his farm, I saw lovely tomato plants. The border crop is marigold. Marigold is an excellent pest repellent. So if you're having a garden at home, grow a few marigold plants. Right? They help in chasing away the pests. I was so happy. I congratulated this farmer. He laughed at me. He said he was growing them not for pest repellent because there was a temple nearby. I asked him, what do you do for the tomatoes? He said, sir, I use endosulfan. Endosulfan has been one of the worst pesticides. One of the worst pesticides. It's highly corrosive. It's already been declared as banned. Maybe it will take a few more months to totally get it banned. But this highly corrosive pesticide, people, when they use it, this is what happens to his hand. This is what happens to hands of people who use endosulfan. This is what happens to their fingers. This is what happens to the legs of people who use over there. And this is what happens to the feet of people who work on those soils. And this is what happens to people who eat this, to the linings inside their stomachs. And then we say, so what, we will burn it up. Fair enough, burning is not a problem. Unfortunately, when I go closer, this is what burns. And when this burns, it gives out dioxins, which also get infiltrated into the soils. So finally, what do I get on the plate? When we eat, we are eating poison in the plate. Can we bring a change? This is my humble request. Can we bring a change? Is it possible? Because today, all this is happening. We all know that many people have respiratory problems. Many people are developing neurological problems. Reproductive, we know how many fertility clinics are getting opened. Developmental, there are lots of teratogenesis. Teratogenesis is deformed babies being born. And cancer, we hope we all know what's happening around us. This I used to see in Punjab. When I did some programs for the farmers over there. But at that time, there were heavy usage of chemicals. Today, I see this in Thiruvanmayur Pediatrics Clinic in Chennai. Children are put into these inhalers because of respiratory distress. Parkinson's is increasing. We all know that Parkinson's is increasing. There's at least one relative of ours who is going through Parkinson's. And many people, scientists, have related this to many chemicals which are being used. Some of these chemicals were banned day before yesterday, but it will take some time for them to fade out. These are all the human carcinogens which are in the circulation. Dichlorvos now is being asked to be withdrawn, but it will take time. And in our country, certain times, even after ban, many materials may be available over a period of time. Okay, fine. Let me eat some fruits. There's no fruit available, most of the markets, without calcium carbide. Calcium carbide is an artificial ripener. You use to ripen the fruit faster. Please understand that these are the things which are being used, ethylene ripeners, which ripen the mangoes, which ripen the banana. How do I know it, sir? This is how a banana will ripen. If you find a green banana with spots on it, they have used artificial ripener. Avoid them. A yellow banana ripens from one end to another end. If you find in the market dark green on both the ends with only yellow compound in the middle, they have used the Chinese pudding. And the mango season, if you want to go to the shop to buy them, just wait for some time. Watch on which fruits or which batch of fruits the flies are sitting. you buy those because the flies know that there are no chemicals. And one humble request here, many people have already started warning that in India we have this bad habit, like when we go to buy rice, our basic habit was to take some rice and put in the mouth. The same way, whenever you go and buy the mangoes, the first thing you do is smell it. Please avoid smelling mangoes, at least during this season. During this season. Please remember that. People talk about waste management. For years together, I have been asking people to revise it as resource management. I have been telling and advising the Corporation of Chennai for the past 25 years to change the department name as Resource Management Department so that it will be positive, but there are no takers for it. Unfortunately, a good friend of mine, Mr. Ramanathan, who was a first executive engineer appointed for this department, and when he retired, people were referring to him in his talk as Waste Ramanathan, because waste management department, they call it as waste, right? So at least he would have retired happily as Resource Ramanathan. These are the things which are being promoted in my country when they have been failed in the world. These are all huge, 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 huge burning equipment which is used to completely incinerate garbage. They are called as incinerators. What have failed in Western countries, they are trying to dump into our country. Vienna, lovely country, beautiful structure. This structure is a visiting site for people, but they liberate a lot of gases. These can liberate all this type of gases which you can read for yourself, especially dioxins. That is where Vermitech comes in. Can we use earthworms? Can we revive earthworms? The term Vermitech was introduced. This is one of the worms which is today used for composting in large quantities. Vermicomposting is very simple, very, very simple. You have already composted material, introduce the worms into it, and keep a few dung patties, variety on top of it. It's as simple as that. Now, if you ask me, sir, where do I get the cow dung patty? It's available online. Amazon and Flipkart are selling it. You must now try to understand and realize what they buy for 40 paise from a farmer or 1 rupee from a farmer is sold for this rates. It's very simple to do it at home. But I would advise you today to start with a simple mechanism. Can we start? Because after seeing this program, at least some of you should try to do some work. Just take 7 flower pots. Call them as Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Very simple. Should I buy flower pots? No. Take any dabba or anything you have at home. But remember to put holes at the base so that water should go away. If water stagnates inside, it will not compost, it will rot. Okay. Now what do? In all the 7 pots, take few stones, these black stones or pebbles, and put them at the base of it. Little soil or sand put at the base. That's all. Your unit is ready. Sunday's vegetable waste. Don't start with non-vegetarian. Start with vegetable. Sunday's vegetable waste. Chop it pieces. Put it on Sunday pot. Take little bit of cow dung. Dilute in water. Sprinkle. Sir, cow dung? We don't have cow dung at home. Okay. Take sour curd. Khatta dahi. Pulicha tair. Which becomes yellow on the top. It has lots of microorganisms, lactobacilli, streptococci, everything into it. Take a little bit of it, mix it in water, sprinkle into it. Or any fruit juices, which have been fermented. I'll show you about some of the examples later. This fermented juice, just sprinkle on it. Little soil, put it on it. That's all over. Monday, same way you do it. Tuesday pot. Wednesday pot. So you come back to Monday pot after 7 days. In 1 month, average, you add 4 times in each pot. After every month, take a stick and just mix the contents in the pot. Don't go to the stones, only the top organic matter, mix it. Keep watering only if it is dry. Only if it is dry, just put little water. Right? For an average household, it takes 4 to 5 months for all the 7 pots to get filled. Once they are filled up, again take the stick, mix all the 7 pots separately, mix them, Leave it for another 10 to 15 days. Keep watering if required. The whole thing gets composted. Every pot has compost, soil, all the organic matter inside it. In one pot, you put tomato seeds, in one bacon seeds, in one bhendi seeds, in one takali seeds, and you have your own vegetable garden ready at. Shall we start? Sir, without pots, can we do something? I have some soil with me. Yes, it's very simple. We call it as a ring garden or nutrition garden. What do you do with it? Just take 3 feet dia on the soil, 3 feet diameter, and dig a pit for about 1.5 foot, 1.5 feet. 3 feet dia, 1.5 feet deep. Very simple. But please don't take a scale. I'm telling you a rough measurement. And remove the soil in such a way that there is a mound. You make a mound on the sides. The yellow arrow will be the inner side of the mound. The green arrow will be the outer side of the mound. Put your waste here. Here alone, a dry cow dung cake or a little bit of cow dung can be very good because that can attract a lot of organismic activity in the center. Start adding your waste over there, your so-called resource from your kitchen waste. Keep adding over here. After about 20-25 days, on the inner side where you find the yellow arrow, plant coriander, mint, palak, all those sort of things. On the outer margin where you find the green arrow, plant tomato, okra, that is bhendi. Then you have brinjal. On one side, you are managing waste. On the other side, you are harvesting vegetables. These are all very simple techniques which you can follow. But please, because many institutions are participating, I happen to see in the chats before starting that some other teachers from other colleges are participating. Please remember that there will be some company who will come and tell them that you can prepare compost in 24 hours. Don't trust them. You cannot produce compost in 24 hours. These are all volume reducing machines. In fact, one of the leading corporations called me for a discussion over the phone and said that this machine has come, whether they can buy it. I told them, ask that company representative whether he was born in 10 months or was he born in 10 minutes. You require 10 months to be born. The same way, it takes at least 24 to 30 days for composting. You cannot compost in 24 hours. Certain ideas for you to understand, because all of you are not from the same science background. Supposing I catch fish and then the fish die. I want to preserve the fish, but I have no ice and no fridge. I have no ice, I have no fridge. The fish have died. So what do? I add salt. When I add salt, the water is absorbed. Microorganisms don't multiply. That is why when you make achar at home, you add salt into it so that it doesn't decompose. Now, when you add salt, the fish dries and it becomes karwad, dry fish. I have told you that soil is a living organism. If I keep on adding salts into it, nitrate is a salt of nitrogen, phosphate is a salt of phosphorus, potash is a salt of potassium. When I keep on adding these salts into it, my soil also becomes a karwad, a dry fish. Come back to another example. When you have your food, and if there is too much of salt in it, you just took the food and there is too much of salt, what do you immediately want? I need water. So if you add too much of salt to the soil, soil also demands water. We talk about soil management different from water management. You cannot have water management without managing your soils. So in our own experiments, which we have done to a large extent, we found that in chemical fields and organic fields, the same quantity of water when being passed through it, you find that this absorbs and the soil cracks within a short time, whereas this retains the moisture. These are all very essential components which we will have to improve now post-COVID. Again, one more example to you. Please understand this example. My left hand is normal hand. My right hand has edema. Edema means swelling. And especially women, you know that During pregnancy, many women go through this swelling, edema, and the doctor says go in for a salt test, albumin test, whether the salt content is increased. Because when the salt goes and stays over there, water comes and stays over there. So when I look at these two hands, my edema hand looks more beautiful than my normal, because my edema hand is red like a tomato and solid like a potato. So it looks beautiful. So when you go to a chemical shop, you will find vegetables fully blown because salts go and stay there, water also stays there. They look very swelled up, beautiful. But if you buy them and keep them at home, in 2 3 days, you find that it shrivels because of moisture inside it, water inside. Whereas organic vegetables may not look good, but they have enough material for you to keep healthy. This I am not saying. In fact, many people have done a lot of research, and there are excellent research from UK which has proved that organic vegetables have more amount of salicylic acid in them. And salicylic acid is the precursor of aspirin. And the doctors say that you better have an aspirin, pop in an aspirin if you want to protect your heart. So you have enough precursors in this food itself. ஏன்னா நமக்கு உணவே மருந்து, நமக்கு உணவே மருந்து. Understand the concepts when you go back to your institutions. When I'm walking in the rain and I hold the umbrella, the water will not fall on my head. It will fall around me, around the umbrella. Fair enough. But if I don't have an umbrella, I go and stand under the shade of a big tree. Big tree. I stand under the shade of the tree. Water, a few drops may fall on my head, but most of the water will fall around the tree. Why should water fall around the tree? Is it foolishness? No. That is what nature teaches us. Nature is an excellent teacher. Nature tells us it falls around the tree because the roots which take water are there. Where? Around the tree. So where should I water? Around the tree. Where should I give manure? Around the tree. Where should I give compost? Around the tree. Only then the plants grow, the plants yield. But what we do in many institutions, we feed near the trunk and say nothing grows. Understand the concepts in life. And because terrace gardening is growing up today, a few points about terrace garden I would like to tell you people. I wish that each one of us starts something. I have a terrace garden, I have a good garden with me. But if you want to start a terrace garden, the moment you go and tell home, there'll be somebody at home who will say, it's an old building, water will seep, this and that. Please understand that the last wall of the building is called as the load-bearing wall. You can easily keep within 3 feet of the load-bearing wall, the green patch which you see over here, that can be used for keeping plants. Similarly, you find the beams running in old homes. Just above the beam, you can keep them. There's no problem. If you want, you can put a plastic sheet as a base, and on top of it, you can keep this sort of casuarina poles, casuarina or bamboo, and grow them in baskets. Or we used to do this long back. We started this in 1990s. This is a remnant, a beautiful picture from IRSB. I think Anis would be able to recollect it. Parveen will be able to recollect it. Many people who studied under me over there in your college will be able to recollect it. Now, these were the casuarina poles which were there, and you find the bags on which we used to grow plants. Many people then ask me, sir, I live in an apartment. நீங்க பேசுறதெல்லாம் நமக்கு ஒத்து வராது. I can't do all this. We live in an apartment. We don't have soil. We can't get soil. To grow mint, pudina, you require only 4 inches of soil. Can you? To grow methi, methi, I hope you all know, fenugreek, right? To grow vendium, I require only a plastic box like this, a sweet box in which sweets come, and you can harvest them. 12th day, you have lovely kire at home. Have 10 boxes, then every day you can take 1 box out. Nobody eats every day, so at least have 6 boxes and try to take them by turns. You can make methi roti, you can make methi puri. In fact, my first PhD student who registered, Dr. Chitralekha Ramachandran, she teaches children now in schools to use these coconut shells and grow methi. Can we start these things? Can we start? Immediately some people say, sir, water is a scarcity in Chennai. Because we people know, we know all the excuses. We learn to give excuses. Well, if I come to your house and ask for water, you will give me water in a tumbler. Only if I have to have a bath, I require a bucket of water. If I want to have a swim, I need a pool. So a man of this size of about 6 foot requires just a glass of water. How much of water is required for the plant? In fact, plants require only soil moisture, not soil water. So please understand water management. And you can prepare a lot of foliar sprays. I'm just giving you insights. All the procedures are available in my website for free download. I'll give it to you in the last. You can download them. This is Vermi Wash. This drum was developed by me in 1982, the first unit which was published in the world. Now, this drum costed me 200 rupees. 200 rupees. And when farmers came, they asked me, 200 rupees, sir, we made it in 50 rupees. Then they said, 50 rupees, sir, one small farmer. 50 rupees, because 50 rupees was value at that time in the 80s. We made it in 10 rupees at that time. The flower pot was 10 rupees. So it is not the container, it is the content that is important. Prepare yourself. And there are beautiful things like Panchagavya. Excellent. Panchagavya is doing wonderful job. My good friend Dr. Natarajan is the one who standardized the whole thing on Panchagavya. You can prepare Panchagavya with all these components. Whatever fruits you have at home, avoid the citric fruits. No orange, no satgudi and those things. But any other fruit at home, if it ripens up, squash it with your hand, put it in a plastic bottle. Plastic bottle. Don't use a glass bottle. Use a plastic bottle. Put them in a big mouth so that you can put your hand inside. Smash it up. Equal quantity jaggery. Take the jaggery, mix it up. Add about 4 or 5 times water to it. Close the bottle. Shake well. Keep it. Keep shaking it every day. In about 20-25 days, when you open and smell, you will get a lovely alcoholic smell. Your beautiful plant growth promoter substance is ready. Remove the supernatant, dilute in water, spray it on your plants. Your plants grow healthy. That's all. That's all. It's as simple as that. Why I said not glass bottle? Because during fermentation, gas will be produced inside. If it is a plastic bottle, it will swell. If it swells too much, you can open, close. But a glass bottle will crack. A pot will crack. So please remember that. Please remember that. In the same way, those who eat fish, I'm told that lots of people coming from coastal area have also registered. Those who eat fish, you take the fish, the remaining balance waste products. In the same way, you can prepare excellent fish amino, which can grow plants. This I don't say today. You go and talk to this at home and tell your grandmother, he told something that we can use fish, and your grandmother would say, what is new thing that he has said? When we used to make fish, all the water, after washing the fish, we used to put it for the plants, and the plants used to grow. This is traditional knowledge. And if you have pests, what do you do at home? In our Indian meal, South Indian meal particularly, we have rasam. Same way, prepare a rasam for your plants. What you require is ginger, garlic, and asafoetida. What is asafoetida? Hing, perungayam. So you take ginger, garlic, asafoetida, soak it in water. If cow's urine is available, fine. Otherwise, it's okay. Dilute and spray. What I'm trying to tell you is, please don't just spray as such. If you spray as such, it will be too harsh on the plants. The leaves will go dark. They will become brown. They may die. Even though it is organic, you have to use it in limited quantities. Some words about seeds and what we will have to do for our country. Very important for our country. Please remember, when you go and buy seeds in the market today, they are all this colored. I'm not exaggerating. You go and buy seeds in the market, open market. They're all colored. This color is because of a new pesticide called as neonicotinoids. These are neurotoxic pesticides. They can affect the brain. You can grow the plant. You can eat the vegetable. That's not a problem. But when you plant the seed, you have to be careful that you don't use that finger and put it in your mouth, and that your children don't take up the seed and put it in their mouth. It can affect the health of the children. Yes. What I am worried is about my farmer. My farmer has the habit of taking BD. He will take a BD, one puff, keep it in the mouth, and then plant 2-3 seeds. Again, he will touch his lips. So every time he touches his lips, this chemical can go inside. It can affect the farm. Please remember. You may say, okay, sir, you say don't go for this. Then is there an alternative? Beautiful alternative is termite soil. From the termite mound, you take that soil, mix it up with the seeds, and then plant it. It's beautiful. It gives the same results or similar results. It's very easy for me to count the seeds. If I eat a sitapalam, I can easily count the number of seeds in it. Very easy to count the number of seeds. I can keep the seeds separate and then count them. I can count them. But can you guess the number of fruits which each seed will produce? That is God or nature. Understand the component? Fair enough. Farmers used to have their own seeds. Today we are going to move from biodiversity to genetic slavery. The new seed bill, I will not go into those details because this is not the platform for it. The new seed bill is going to create a lot of problems. For us, food is medicine. For us, food is medicine. For an European or an American, they require medicine in food. We don't require medicine in food. They wanted to bring in the golden rice. Golden rice because they said that golden rice will have carotene, and many children in India, they wear glasses, their eyesight is very poor. So carotene can substitute with vitamin A and provide for deficiency. And the gene taken, and for those parents whose children are appearing for NEET or any examination, 2 years back this question was asked in NEET, what is the source of the carotene gene? What is the source of the carotene gene for golden rice? And because they tempted with the word carotene gene, our children normally relate it with carrot. So please teach your children properly that here not carrot, but it was daffodils, the flower daffodil. I hope some of you elders would have read this poem when you were in school, William Wordsworth. I wanted lonely as a cloud. That's what is daffodils. Then they said BT cotton. And please, for those non-science people who are attending this webinar, BT, many people mistake and tell me it's biotechnology. It is not biotechnology. BT is for Bacillus thuringiensis. It is a type of bacteria. That is the reason why we don't write a capital B and a capital T. We don't use uppercase for both. We use capital uppercase for B and small lowercase for T, because a genus is always represented with a uppercase and the species is represented with a lowercase. That's the reason it's called as BT cotton. And BT cotton was told as non-edible, and we all nodded our head. Yes, yes, yes. Please understand. Cotton, I'm wearing a cotton shirt, fair enough. But cotton seed is converted into milk and sold in Madurai. And halwa is sold in Nagur and Nagapattinam. It is edible. And even seeds are crushed and oil taken for some purpose. But the oil seed cake is fed to the cows or cattle, and we drink the cow's milk. Please understand this cycle. Please understand the cycle. Then they wanted to bring in for katrika, baigan, brinjal, BT brinjal. Lots of opposition we had to do. Lots of opposition. Why we had to do? Because I'm talking from Tamil Nadu. And most of you are watching from Tamil Nadu. You know that we have several varieties of baigan in our state. When I ask this, many people, they start counting. I know the purple one, I know the green one, I know the Mullu Katrika. No, we have 22 varieties of baigan just in Tamil Nadu. And Government of India has a beautiful office called as the NBPGR, National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources. National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources. And according to them, we have 4,460 accessions of brinjal. So should I compromise with one variety from a company? When I have so many varieties with me, so much of biodiversity in my country, should I compromise? Please start understanding. Please understand. So then they started bringing mustard. And cleverly, very cleverly, they coined this as DMH11, Dhara mustard hybrid 11. They did not call it BT because Bacillus thuringiensis was not used. Bacillus amyloliquefaciens was used. Please understand these nuances. Meddling with genes in the environment can cause total disturbances of ecosystems. This is what they have been trying to bring in. This is a Barnes Basta technology. I will not go into many details. I'm just trying to give you all the outlines, because all those who are listening to this, please, please, please see to it that here afterwards, whatever thesis or research you people are doing or guiding, please see to it that there will be social relevance. We have moved away from social relevance. Please narrow down your research to understand. And these are the companies which are making profit. Many people still carry in mind that Monsanto is the enemy. But you don't find the name of Monsanto at all here, because Monsanto has been purchased by Bayer. So please keep update. Keep update as to what is happening, which seed companies are there. Bayer has already taken over Monsanto, right? So what will happen? Biodiversity will make all the judo, karate fight, and biotechnology will teach them. Immediately, some of you may ask, why are you so against biotechnology? I am not against biotechnology. I am talking to you as a former head of the Department of Biotechnology. Technology is beautiful. For example, knife is a technology. Knife is a technology. Whether I peel a potato with a knife or kill a person with a knife, knife is there. How I use the knife is very important. Technology is a very good technology. Where to apply the technology and how to use the technology is where we differ. It's where we differ, not against technology. Come to water. When you look at water, this is how water was in our past days. This is how water well is today, and this is what is going to be in future. So shall we promote rainwater harvesting at homes? In almost all the homes, all our homes, please understand, we produce two types of water. One, grey water, the other, black water. Grey water is which that comes from the kitchen, laundry, and bathroom. Once the toilet wastewater combines, it is called as black water. Unfortunately, we combine everything and waste the entire water as black water. What I recommend and what I do at home, in my own home, is kitchen water I don't use, because our kitchen is something different. It has too much of masala, too much of food, too much of things, and all those things create a problem in my unit. But maximum water is being utilized in washing machines and in bathrooms where we have our bath. Now here the only component which is contaminating the water is soap. If I can remove that soap, then that water could be used. The same thing I have been trying to tell in most of the mosques in colleges. I did it for New College Masjid when I was there. But after I left, everything was demolished. But the thing is that the difference, that is, unfortunately in my country, it is the individual who works. That's the problem. So we all have to work together now to recover our own earth, to help earth. We rehabilitate the earth so that nature restores itself. So these two waters have only soap, and soap has a large component of PO4. If I can convert PO4 to P2O5, available phosphate, then the whole thing can be solved. How can I do it? Just a small tank. For a small household of 4 or 5 people, household, not big institutions I'm talking about. For a small household, this model, we just use a tank with these baffles, fill it up with pebbles or stones, and use one of these plants. The simplest one is canna for India, for South India especially. Canna is your kalwa, right? And we grow those plants in those stones. We make the water pass through, you get beautiful water coming out. This is how it looks. I think I have silenced the video, because the water passes out and comes out as clean water. This water can be used for recharging the ground. This water can be used for your gardening purposes. This water can be collected in a tank, taken to the overhead tank, separate overhead tank, and used for flushing the toilets. There are so many benefits of recycling. But these are the challenges. I am throwing the challenge for all the young teachers who are listening to me today. Medical waste, especially tablets, hormone tablets, antibiotics, most of these medicines are just thrown away, and they break up and they contaminate my environment. Can you come out with an alternative? I'm just throwing up. Sanitary napkins, most institutions have come with alternatives. But unfortunately today, the major problem is diaper. We used to have only infant diapers. Now, with many geriatric patients coming in, you have adult diapers generated from every household. At least sanitary napkins are during a period. This is every day. Can you come out with an alternative? I'm just sounding it loud. The third very important thing are the electronic waste. Most of the electronic waste is recycled in unorganized sector, exposing them to heavy metal contamination. Can you come up with an alternative? I leave it to you. Gobar gas is an excellent alternative. Unfortunately, it was named as gobar gas in our country. It's actually now renamed and called as biogas. You can work on it. You can work on it because you also get now mini plants at a highly affordable cost. You can buy them. You can do a lot of work at home as well as in institutions. These are all certain things which I would like to caution to you people, which has created all the problems, environmental problems in my country, especially in my state. I was chairman for one of the major committees appointed by the High Court. And I had the shock of my life when I investigated about this land. I have heard about wetland. In Tamil, we call it as Sadupu Nilam. I have heard about these wetlands. I have heard about wasteland. We call this as Tarisal Nalam. We have heard about wetlands. I have heard about wastelands. And in my entire service as an ecologist and teaching ecology, I had the shock of my life when the government produced a document calling this land as waste wetland. Tarisal Sadupu Nilam. How can a wetland be declared as a wasteland? I don't understand. And when you construct buildings over there, then water stagnation, disease spreading starts. We try to cure the disease by lockdowns and lockups, but we prevent all this which is happening in environment. Most of the diseases have started because of mismanagement of our environmental factors. Simple things I would like to tell you. We started breaking every damn mountain in our country. I always believe and imagine that if there were a complete pack of papers, that is what the Earth's strata, whether you call it stratospheres and other things, right? And the mountains are the peg on the top, paperweight. They are the mountains. So even when the wind blows, the papers won't move. And once you remove the peg, what will happen? The papers will start moving. Maybe because of these, are we facing more earthquakes? Or because of deep drilling in the name of methane and other things, are we going to create further problems? Are we going to generate further microbes from the deep to come out and start affecting us? I'm just throwing all this open wide to you people. Start discussing because today's pattern, land ownership should go to the farmers. But major policies are coming where it should be transferred to corporations. Farmers are supposed to be growing food crops, but major thrust is coming for growing alternatives. The food is supposed to be meant for the people who live in that country, but thrust is coming for increasing GDP, so you export. Are we moving away from our concepts? Certain take-home messages for you, all the teachers and participants. Please first correct your eating habits. If you really want to improve your health and protect your family, change your eating pattern properly. Excellent food for our country. Fermented, steamed food or shallow fried. Excellent. First step, stop buying those big boxes from big market shops, which claim to have all the nutrients in it, but they are suppressing the facts that it has a lot of sugar in it. And the children get addicted because of the sugar, the high level of fructose, which is there. One of the best foods are this. Can we start slowly including minor millets in our food? One of my meal, at least 4 meals in the night, are minor millets for me. Can we start thinking? Whichever you like. And my humble request to all the parents over there who have children at home, you spoil your children because most of us, we have the habit of throwing away the karivepalai, the kariyapata. Kariyapata is a very important thing. So most of these things which I show here are thrown out during eating. From today, can you put them in a mixie and add it up in your food? so that the children are not able to isolate, and even you are not able to isolate it. This is what was sold outside my school when I was a kid. Maybe I ate so much of this that I feel enough immunity in the body. We have forgotten these cheap things and we go for a tablet which is vitamin C. Simple things, change your feed habits, please. Because today we are overfed, but we are undernourished. We are undernourished. So this I have been talking every time for the past about 10 to 15 years. I have been talking about it. My simple request is follow our national flag. Very simple. The first color is orange or saffron. Please take some food of that color every day. Whether it's orange, whether it is papaya, whether it is carrot, whether it is pumpkin, or even if it is mangoes, that gives us carotene. We don't want America's golden rice. The second color is white. Many women, my humble request, especially to women folk at home as well as wherever you are, during your cyclic periods, you require vitamin K, and vitamin K is effective only in the presence of calcium. So take calcium, and the easiest source is milk. Those who are vegans, please take a substitute. Take green colored vegetables. They provide us fiber, and fiber is very important for our body. Unfortunately, today, most vegetarians feel by taking paneer, they are becoming a vegetarian. Paneer is not a vegetable. Please take green colored vegetables. And the chakra is blue in color. Right from childhood, we have been painting water blue. Take sufficient quantity of water. And how many lines in the chakra? 24 lines in the chakra. In 24 hours, follow our national flag. We don't need any other food from any part of the country. That's the school where I studied. I always remember my school. That's the foundations of my education. St. Joseph of Cluny Pondicherry, my primary school. I go there every year to take classes for my juniors, and every time I go, this is what they serve me. Our food, South Indian food, is arusoi. It has all these flavors. Maybe every food, especially Northeast, has wonderful combinations of food. Right? So all these components are there. This is our food. And you think that these two will solve our problem? Even the birds which eat there become obese. So if you continue to eat, you become like that. I'm not against any food. Let me be very clear over here. Once in a way, you people meet, you want to eat it. But unfortunately, with delivery systems that have started, children just pick up the phone, order for a food, and eat them. Please avoid them. Color. Unfortunately, today, you as a parent, take it as an experiment. Take your children, small children, to any bakery, any big bakery, and just stand over there. The child would say, Amma, I need that pink cake. I need that blue cake. They do not know what it is. Most of us in the cities are eating based on color, not on quality. And simple example, in those days, if I used to leave a sweet on the table, the ants would come and attack them in about half an hour, 1 hour. Today, you leave a sweet on the table, even for about a week, ants don't come there. Most of the sweets which are prepared, I'm not generalizing again, most of the sweets that are available in the market are prepared with aspartame, a chemical, and not sugar. Do you want to feed your children what even an ant doesn't want to eat? Start thinking. This decreases their immunity. This decreases their immunity. And this is a beautiful thing which I happened to see yesterday, and I included this slide. When you take color, the color goes into the system. The color goes into the system. So these are all the dangerous colors. The red color, the blue color, the yellow color, which is sold and which we prepare this so-called kesaris. I always tell people, like Rava is used to prepare upma with salt, and the same Rava is used to prepare kesari with sugar. Why should kesari be yellow in color? So what you are preparing is not kesari, it is canceri. Can we take alternatives? Can we slowly turn over to turmeric or caramel or saffron or beetroot juice or carrot juice, something if you want color? In my home, it is without color. So what? It's only the sweet, right? Can we? Should we take these chemicals and suppress our immunity so that we get exposed to all these diseases? so-called chicken pakoda. This particular symbol is from the Consumer Association of Penang, whom I have been advising for nearly 25 years now. The red-colored chicken pakodas, the red-colored gobi pakodas, very dangerous, very dangerous. When you buy market and you buy this peas, patani, please do not buy these open patanis unless you are confident about the shop. Most of the places, this is how it is made. One more problem with biotechnology is not the biotechnology per se. The production of RBGH, recombinant bovine growth hormone. This is going to invade the market shortly. RBGH. Ms. Uma Maheshwari, will you please keep quiet, not interfere with the presentation? I don't know why you have put this. Ms. Uma Maheshwari, remove the annotation note. She has asked for annotating my presentation. I don't know why she should annotate my presentation. Right. Now, you can use this cattle and you can completely, if you inject them, you can completely drain the milk. You can take the milk out. You can take the milk out. Then go back, decline, and come back. Ms. Uma Maheshwari, can you remove the? Can you
I have
please?
even given her a private message, sir.
Why can't she hear it? I'll have to. I declined it. Yeah. Right. So once you inject them with hormones, you can take all the milk from the cow, all the milk from the cow. But in about 3 years' time, the cow will develop the disease of the udder, which is called as mastitis. This is on one side. On one side. But the girl children, especially in rural areas where they don't pasteurize the milk, the girl children, when they drink this milk, they will attain puberty at the age of 8 or 9. The entire hormone system will get affected. If you think that I'm exaggerating, I'll just show you one video clipping now. This is a news from the news channel. The cow has just delivered a female calf. The cow has just delivered a female calf. And that female calf.
இருந்ததை கண்டு அதை பார்த்தபோது அதில் பால் சுரப்பது தெரிய வந்தது. அதன் பின்னர் பால்மடியில் பால் கறந்து பார்த்தபோது 1/2 லிட்டர் வரை பால் கிடைத்தது. இது குறித்து கால்நடை மருத்துவர்களிடம் கேட்டபோது ஹார்மோன் பிரச்சனையால் மிக அரிதாக இது போன்று நிகழும்.
Just born calf giving half a liter of milk. Please understand that we have taken environment for granted. Those of you who are not aware as to why COVID has happened, COVID has not just happened just because Wuhan, some people ate the fact. It is how badly we have damaged the entire ecosystems. Very badly damaged. Simple things we have taken people for granted. This is not my slide, this is a slide from the Government of India, Industrial Toxicology Research Center. Sweets today in every shop are sold along with the silver foil. Varah, tagat. Especially for festivals, all the sweets are purchased, except for some genuine shops where there are silver. Most of the shops are buying silver-like product prepared with the help of 5 heavy metals: nickel, lead, copper, chromium, cadmium. Their kidneys will be completely affected. Please be very careful, very careful. So what is the easiest way of eating healthy? Don't eat what is advertised on the TV. We don't need, because food doesn't require advertisement. So don't buy what is advertised. Second, please, people at home, feed your children with dhanyams, with good food, and don't watch these things and spoil. Probably I should thank COVID because these things have stopped. No new productions have taken place, but they will come back. They will come back. And especially because most of this, I'm addressing a women's college, most of these products are also not safe, including this. So please understand commercialization. This is what we used in our younger days. Today they ask whether you have salt or whether you have charcoal. So all these are complicated things. Probiotics are coming in the market. The best source of probiotics, is tair or curd, not yogurt. Don't go to a supermarket and pick up yogurt. Yeah, once in a way you have it, I have no problem. Curd is different, yogurt is different. Yogurt is a brand, which means the taste should be same throughout, which means limited number of microorganisms are used. Whereas a homemade curd has a better composition of microorganisms. The second most important thing is, I hope the whole coastal belt takes that food, which is called as paje sapadu, where food is left to soak in water overnight and then consumed the next day. That with curd gives you excellent probiotics, excellent antioxidants. It's available today in the hotels along with masal vada or with Nethali Karwad. So it's come into the market now. You can buy it. Plastics again, please be very careful. This is how we have been spoiling our health. We are losing our immunity. Plastics are of six types, in which 1, 2, and 5 were used. Today, seventh grade has come, which is any other plastic, which may contain bisphenol A. Bisphenol A, which is a nasty chemical which can cause cancer. Feeding bottles come in plastic number 7. Please check whether they have declared it is bisphenol A free or BPA free. Please check it before you buy. How do I know where this number is, sir? Look at behind or the side of the bottle. There will be this triangle with the number. In fact, if you want, you can. I wouldn't be able to see it myself, but I'm trying to show it over here. You can see it. A triangle with a number. Right? So that is very important for us. Please be very careful. Please be very careful when you buy. This is plastic number 7. I happened to go to Delhi for a meeting. They served a plastic glass. There is no number. Cheating. The triangle is there. So the moment you see the triangle, people think the number will be there. This is called as cheating. This is how foreign countries sell, especially for children. These are lunch boxes for children. This should be declared phthalate free and BPA free, because phthalate can interfere with endocrines and BPA can be carcinogenic. So please, when you buy feeding bottles for home for your kids, watch out for it. Watch out. This polystyrene is one nasty thing. I used to call it for the past 15 years as white coffin. The day, especially 2012, 8 years back, when I went to Madurai, in the airport, the flight was getting delayed. I asked for something to eat, and he asked me to wait and then served me on this plate. When I removed the product, I saw the impression. I returned the product because the stearine from that plate goes away into the food, and what you are eating is cancer. And stearine is so nasty, which you have already read, which happened in Visakhapatnam a couple of last week. It can destroy organisms, it can destroy ecosystems. My humble request to a lot of women folk as well as men folk who are listening to this, the people, today it's a fashion to buy anything with microplastics. Toothpaste with microplastics, shampoo with microplastics, because it's supposed to help you people clean up properly. Please avoid it. These microplastics have already entered our ecosystem, and these microplastics are found in drinking water bottles nowadays. These microplastics are found in salt nowadays, and they're also found in the fish, seafood. Please avoid using microplastics. This is all our ego, because we said that we are the top, whereas we are part of the ecosystem. And COVID reminded us that you are not on the top. You are part of it, because I can control you as well. Right? Simple habits we have forgotten. In doorsteps, we used to put haldi, turmeric, to prevent insects coming in. We started painting them yellow, and everything started coming inside. We used to put kolam with rice flour, because birds and animals used to eat them. We forgot about them, and we went into rangolis. We used to dry mango leaves at the entrance, because they produced phenolic compounds which used to chase away microorganisms. And we started putting them in plastic. And when I ask people, say, mango leaves are not available, sir. Mango leaves are available in Amazon. 25 leaves, 5,509 rupees. 25 leaves, 5,509 rupees. EMI available. Certain things which I want you people to carry in mind is we have always been talking against the use of too much use of phone, because we get so obsessed with phone that we even do not know what is happening around us. We get so obsessed that even Cascade, run by my good friend Vidya Shankar, they did a lot of survey and they found out that many children exposed to these in the younger age develop a lot of problems. So we worked against it, and probably it would be effective only till 2019 BC. Yes, the old nomenclature of BC and AD is gone. Before Christ and Anno Domini, after death is gone. Today it is 2019, before Corona. 2019 before Corona, this was our mode of talk. 2020 after Corona, this is our mode of talk. We are changing. Till 2019, schools and colleges said, you are not going to bring a mobile phone. Today, JBS College has said, you stay at home and use your phone. Things have changed overnight. We used to teach teachers that your words are not important, your voice tone and body language is very important. Today, the whole thing has changed. Your words and voice tone are important. Body language, you're just sitting and talking, so talk whatever you want. The whole concepts are changing. Why is this happening? New nomenclatures. I knew that we used to have a petrol car, and suddenly they brought in this electric car. And then they said the electric car can stop somewhere, so they combined and call it as a hybrid car. We used to have physical classrooms. Then they said it's going to be digital class. Now education is, they say, it's going to be PHY plus GITAL, which is digital class. New names, new nomenclatures, new fee structures, especially those parents who are having children in school are going to pay more. Going to pay more. Who knows what is going to happen behind your back? Who knows now? All my participants who have logged in are there. Everything happens for granted. So that sort of a connection between the teacher and the student, where we had an eye contact, where we monitored our children, may not be there. My student may log in, and because we tell them, switch off your mic and switch off your video, that means you are free to do what you want to do. You listen to me or you don't listen to me. That's all. I may even record, I may see it later, or I just don't care. I may just sleep. Or I may just leave that and go away. So what? I don't know. And this divide is going to come. I'm actually warning most of the senior teachers seated over there and the administrators of different institutions. Some may have access to it for a classroom, which you sit and observe from within your rooms. And there may be so many children who might have paid your college fees, but may not have access for a laptop or a data card. Please understand these nuances. We have immediately thought that technology can replace, but remember a child who cannot afford it. As a teacher, that is our responsibility. And for those administrators seated over here, the principals, the heads of departments, the seniors, please understand that your institutions don't work, your teachers work, your people work. Institution doesn't work. People work. I do understand. As women folk, you do a lot of, men folk is very simple. As a man, I can say, so what, do this. But as women folk, you are super moms. You are super moms. You work in a work office, and then again you have to go home and work. You perform a double role. And there's a beautiful slide which I like from Mahindra's MD, who portrayed how can we compare women with men when men have a straight path and women have to do all this labor, because male chauvinism is still there in many homes still now. Unfortunately, in many educational institutions, I still find this happening. Industries, it used to happen. But today, even in educational institutions, the one in the white shirt and the black pant who's going to hit the ball is either the management or the authority. Every institution has a chamcha like him standing behind. Please watch the ball, the golfer, and the chamcha carefully. The boss hits the ball doesn't go. He throws the ball from behind, pushes this ball, and says that the ball has gone. Such fellows exist. We have to learn to live with them. unfortunately, this has always attracted me right from my childhood. After I happened to see in those days one movie by K. Balachandar, Irukodugal. Now, this has always haunted me that there is a person A who is doing some wonderful work. Yes, let him do it. Him or her. A has been doing wonderful work. B wants to overrule A, wants to be acclaimed that I am somebody, I am somebody. There are two ways of doing it. One, B works really, really hard and grows up. Appreciate, salutes to them. But unfortunately, B schemes to suppress A and bring A down, which is the nasty happening in many institutions. Please change. And if you are an administrator or a senior, I'm talking to you as a senior most teacher today who is talking to you with 46 years of experience. If you have it, please observe properly and take proper decisions. Don't sway with just hearsay. Please don't sway. Please don't sway. Because I just happened to see this yesterday. Simon Cowell's statement. Most people are bullying because they are better than the people who bully them. They are bullied because they are better than somebody who bullies them. So please be very careful. And authorities, please respect people with content. If we continue to harass a sincere worker, that's it. Mubin, this is what happens. Mubin,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
Just give me a minute.
Yes, sir.
This
Please,
is
please.
what I was afraid of. This is
Sure,
what I
sir.
was
Sure,
afraid.
sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Participants, please just wait for a couple of seconds. I think so. The video has hanged. Sir will redo it in a couple of minutes. Yeah, participants, just give us a couple of minutes. We are getting back to you. There is a slight technical snag. In another, just a couple of minutes, we'll be back to you. Just give us some time.
I'm sorry and my apologies for this. Is it open? What has happened?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yeah, fine. I got worked up. Are you able to see me? Moving?
Yes, sir, we can see the presentation, sir.
I'm sorry for this what happened. I have muted all the videos so that it doesn't hang again.
Yes, sir.
I took a risk of doing at least a few, but I could not. Please see to it that you have sustainability in teaching practices. That is very important for us. So let us become creative. Let us be very creative in these things. Creativity means here is a man who is trying to play the mridangam. Madam doesn't like it. Just break it. Just break it. You're not supposed to cry. You're supposed to convert it into a tabla and play. That is creativity. That is creativity. So let us be creative. And teachers, please understand that we are faculty. We are faculty for an institution. And C stands for clarity of purpose, commitment, and compassion. Very important. Our purpose is to teach. Our commitment is to teach. Teach with caring. Caring is very important. Compassion and caring of a child. A child first loves the teacher and then loves the subject. A child doesn't just love the subject. So caring is very important. If you don't have the C in your teaching practice, then your choice of profession is faulty. Please understand that. Today, information is flowing, time is going. Please improve knowledge. By knowledge, I don't mean to say go in for higher degrees. I'm telling you to improve your knowledge in your subject. Challenge yourself. Please challenge yourself. Who teaches this goat to be successful? Is it not able to reach? Can't we do it? So please update knowledge. Keep reading. Keep reading. Because it's the books which carry us. It's the knowledge which carries us. It's the knowledge which floats. And I know that knowledge to itself is totally useless unless you learn to connect them. And that comes with experience. And you are all experienced teachers. My humble request to you now is move beyond it. Go towards creativity. Please go towards creativity. You have knowledge, you have the experience. Go to creativity. And please, for God's sake, don't compare yourself with others. You do your job. That's what is important. And work as a team. Work as a team. That is very important. And team doesn't have the letter I. It has the letter I, but should not be visible. Every team has somebody who gives inputs, but it's the team which works, not the individual. Otherwise, what will happen? One will do, the other will repeat the same thing. Shall we revamp the world? Shall we revamp our ecosystems? It's a simple way of saying that if I ask you people, like, what did you have in the morning for breakfast? Some of you may say that I had idli, but you will not say whether you had it with chutney or with sambar or with malagapodi. We don't say the subunits. The same way, earthworm is the pulse of the soil. Earthworm is the pulse of the soil, right? Healthier the pulse, healthier the soil. Because I can't take every animal microorganism and check over there. If I know that the earthworm is in the soil, I believe that all other good organisms are also living there. What has happened today is the soil is there. When it rains, water is not able to percolate. Shall we get back our worms? And once earthworms create the circulatory system of the soil, and when it rains, the water will go in and occupy the subterranean regions. These are the circulatory systems of the soil. Many of you people would have attended several workshops. And in these workshops, they will give you this experiment, exercise. Put 9 dots, join them with 4 straight lines without lifting your pen. You can visualize. Can you? With 5 lines, it is very easy. With 4 lines. And then they will give you the answer that this is the way you're supposed to do it. For those who have not seen it properly, this is the way you're supposed to do it. And then they will tell you, you have to think outside the box. Right? But what has always occurred to me is, right from childhood in school, you are given this. And you are told to color these patterns. And when you colored, you are told your color should not come outside the line. Right from childhood, we have trained the children not to cross or go out of the box. And suddenly somebody comes and tells you, think outside the box. I don't know where that bloody box is. Because if you ask me where to think out of the box, I may have to connect this as out of the box. So please don't get upset about it. Don't go about all this modern technology which you're teaching them. You are a teacher and you can do wonders. Throw your mind open. Incorporate a lot of experiments. Incorporate a lot of simple designs. Incorporate mechanisms. My humble request to you is, because I as a teacher have never taken a chart to my classroom. Never taken a chart to my classroom because I draw with my hand. If I can't draw it, my student cannot draw it. If you want to be a good teacher, what you expect to be from the child, from the student, you do it yourself first. Don't ask the student to do it first. That is what we are. This Venn diagram is a beautiful choice diagram, which I happened to see very recently. I have modified it. It was done by a comedian. I have modified it. I have acknowledged him over there. If you have math skill, I had none. I have no math skill. If you have math skill, and if you have a problem solving ability, Uma Maheshwari, and you keep your hand quiet, Ma Maheshwari, again you are trying to create a problem for me. Thank you. You are fit to become an engineer. You have a math skill and you have problem solving. You are fit to become an engineer. You have math skill and you have OCD. Ella perfect. Left column, right column should be perfectly matching. You are fit to become an accountant. If Boomama is there, she would be listening to me. If you have problem solving and people skill with you, then you are fit to become a what? Management person. Because you have to handle people. If you have an OCD type along with argument skills, you can argue very well, then you are fit to become a HR. They never understand any individual. They don't want you to argue. If you have people skill and you have talking skill, you are fit to become a salesman. If you have an arguing skill and a talking skill, then you are fit to become a lawyer. And if you have all the skills, then we are fit to be teachers. To handle today's situation, we have to have all these skills, all these components which are being today. We wear all these hats one by one. And please, as a teacher, a good teacher is one who is a guide on the side of the student and not a sage on the stage to just talk. So let us be good teachers. And what happens after COVID-19? I do not know. I do not know whether we are going back to the old normal or should we go back to a new normal. The choice is up to all of us. So let us think about how we are going to do this. Can we bring a change in our own attitudes, in our approach, in our feelings? We have made a lot of mistakes during the 1918 flu. When the lockdown was closed, Suddenly people went everywhere, all sorts of Jamela, Mela, and then there was a huge peak of deaths which happened. I only wish and request that even after 31st May, if the lockdown is completely removed, please, for God's sake, maintain physical distancing. Please maintain physical distancing. Please see to it that your family is healthy, happy, you are healthy, happy. And one thing COVID taught us was to move from FOMO to JOLO. Now, what is this FOMO? Fear of missing out. I happened to read this in the newspaper 3 days back. Fear of missing out. What is fear of missing out? I have to go out to the college. So, what should I wear? How should I wear? What are the makeup I have to do? What are the things I have to carry? All those things so that I don't miss out something after going somewhere. From there, it has converted to joy of letting go. I don't carry it. If there's something I want, I can pick it up from my home. It has taught us to be self-reliant. It has taught us to understand the components of life. And for those who are parents who want to have the next generation of children to study, my humble suggestion to you, unfortunately, maths and chemistry never entered my head. There was a beautiful video, I have silenced it. Doctor, engineer, computer, that's what people feel are going to do something. And unfortunately, people feel anything who does other than this is a disgrace for the family. And if you think so, you are listening to one disgrace. I studied zoology. It is not the subject a child studies to become what it is. It is the passion with which you study makes a person. Please understand that. Please understand. And please, as parents or as administrative teachers and headmasters and headmistresses, principals, deans, and all the selection committee meeting members, please understand that just because a child has got some good marks in a particular subject doesn't mean that the child is interested in that subject. I was very, very bad in mathematics. I was failing in mathematics. My teacher, who used to come in 10th standard, had told me that you will never pass school. He never used to encourage me. In the 11th standard, I got a good teacher who started teaching me mathematics. He gave extra attention to me. I worked so hard in mathematics that I scored 100 out of 100 in mathematics, 200 out of 200 to be in fact. But in science, I scored 48. I did not like mathematics. So if in those days my principal had told, no, you have good marks in mathematics, you must study only maths, I would have been a total disaster. Probably I got 48 because I wrote science in my own views, which were not there in the keys which are provided for an examiner. But science was my passion. Today I'm a scientist, right? So please, we have this bad habit in colleges during admission. My humble request, JBAS, bring a change. Just because a child has got marks in a particular subject does not reflect that the child is interested in it. If you want, you conduct another test for the child and find out for yourself as to what the child is interested in. But don't go with marks. My own rewards, which I have received in research, some of you people who are attending this would have read this when you were in class 10. And if you have read this in class 10, the term vermitech was coined by Sultan Ismail, the one who is speaking to you. That has been my thing. And that was a great day for me when the government of Tamil Nadu in the question paper asked who coined the term vermitech, Sultan Ismail or M.S. Swaminathan. At the peak of reward is the new textbooks of government of Tamil Nadu, where they have acknowledged my work and portrayed me in the textbooks. Only a zoology student. And I'm a second class student for that. It is not the marks which help you after some time. It is your passion. So my humble request to all the teachers over there, please work with passion. Please see to it that I know that some of us, we don't like to share any information. We feel this is mine, that is mine. Anybody can steal anything from us, but they cannot steal our passion. Do work with passion. That cannot be stolen. Work can be stolen. Passion cannot be stolen. So we wish you all wonderful work. He is Dr. D.K. Pandey from the DST, Department of Science and Technology. I used to simplify science, and he never compromised with great concepts. So we brought in a book called A Simple Task, Great Concepts. And that is that book. The book is not available. All the 100 experiments are available online. If you have kids at home, You can refer this. I'll show it in the last slide, the website. In fact, I was lucky to associate with him, to understand, to share my information with Professor Kalam. And one small takeaway message for you people: when it rains, the water falls in the soil. This water belongs to the soil. But if you take a pot from your house and keep it out and collect water in the pot, you tell that that water belongs to you. But I gave you that pot. Now it belongs to me. But you collected the water. But it belongs to me because I gave you the pot. You have no other pot. Please understand. Our farmers, their labor, their fields. A few multinational companies would like to invest and harvest everything from there, where my farmer becomes a laborer in his own field. Just giving these things because when you people start working in future, there are so many departments in our own colleges. Try to work as a team, try to do interdisciplinary research and see to it whether these benefits go and reach people. Because when I drive a car, there is a front glass and there is a rear view mirror. Rear view mirror is for behind, what is happening behind me, my past. Front glass is what is ahead of me. If I keep driving my car, just looking at the rear view mirror, I will go and end up in a crash. I'm supposed to look at the front glass. Once in a way, I have to look at the rear view and say, anybody coming? Similarly in life, please look at the front glass. Please drive ahead. Once in a way, look at the past, but don't keep driving looking at the back. And the best word for our environment is the word management. Without the last letter T, it is management, manage human beings. And without the last letter N, it is manage me. Learn to manage yourself. Then you can manage others. That is management. Shall we learn to manage ourselves? Shall we become eco-friendly? Shall we start doing small things? Small things. I don't want you to straight away go and design your wastewater treatment plant and a compost unit. But can we start doing certain small things? Can we start with the judicious use of plastic? Can we start doing certain things? Please start thinking. I love this message from Tagore. With every child that is born comes a message that God is not yet disappointed with. Let us leave behind a healthy environment for all the children who are yet to be born, all for Earth's sake. That's our eye view. But who cares? I leave it to you. இதுக்கெல்லாம் போய் பயிற்சின்னு கேட்காதீங்க. இதுக்கெல்லாம் பயிற்சி வேண்டாம். இதுக்கெல்லாம் தேவை முயற்சி. Let us put out an effort and try to do something. This book in Tamil, Man Makkal Mahsool, has most of the components which I have spoken to you by Vigadan Prasaram. All the best to you all teachers. Good luck to you. And thanks to JBS. Thanks to JBS for all the support and request for doing this program for you people. Thanks to the principal, the management, head of the department, Amtul, Mubin, who has coordinated, and all the teachers who have taken and associated in organizing this, and all the participants, teachers from JBS, from other colleges, and other participants who are taking time to join us. Thank you very much, and good luck to you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was actually 2 hours of brainstorming session, I would say. Now the session is open for question and answers. Participants who are interested in asking the question, please post your question in the chat box. Now the session is open for discussion. Participants, any questions or any? There is a question. Nature is teaching us sustainable living. Okay, it's just a saying, not a question.
I don't see the chat. So.
No, I'm just seeing the chats. There is a question which has been asked in the present scenario, whether nature is teaching us sustainable living.
Nature is asked you to wake up towards sustainable living. Nature has always been into sustainability. It was only we who were not sustainable. So it has asked you to better go in for sustainable practices in future.
Thank you, sir. The second question is, what about almond milk?
This, I think, I don't know who is it, but almond milk, there's nothing wrong with almond milk now at the present time. To be very frank with you, I have always felt that the safest one which is available in market products today, almond is supposed to be the safest one. I've been to the plant, I have seen it because they don't add hydrogen peroxide and things like that. But if some of the milk suppliers are injecting them, there's no test to find out. There's no test to find out.
Sure. I hope it is answered. Few are asking whether organic milk is a better substitute.
If you know the source of it, then it is good.
Okay, then
Know the source.
The source. Another question is, some famous scientists in India are promoting GMOs. Please let us know your opinion about it.
They may be benefited by them, so they will be promoting it. We have to use our common sense.
Thank you so much, sir.
I don't blame foreign countries. I blame our scientists who want to climb the ladder of success, so they try to do all those topics. There is nothing like hard plastics.
Okay. There is one more thing. How to connect pandemic with sustainability of nature?
It's the same thing. Pandemic is a disease which goes across the world. You declare it pandemic once it crosses the boundaries and goes across the world. Sustainable living, you won't do it because you start destroying all your ecosystems, and naturally you get all these problems.
Okay. Then there is a question like, sir, do you think if nature churned out SARS-CoV-2, will it contain it too?
Anything can come into this world at any point of time, and everything by nature slowly fades away. For example, any of the diseases, any of the viruses, they will slowly go away because they are just RNA molecules. But it will take time depending on how quickly they spread and how we contain them. The thing was, in most of the other viruses, there was an intermediate host. So that intermediate host was controlled. Like when the bird flu came, they started killing the birds. When the swine flu came, they started killing the pigs. But here it is direct human to human. That's the problem why people have been requested for going in for physical distancing.
Okay. Then thank you, sir. The next question is your ideas on usage of Tupperware as food containers.
Tupperware mostly uses PP5. Yeah, that's quite safe.
Safe. Okay, the next question is bioplastic realistic? Will it be sustainable product from nature?
Whoever has asked it, thank you for asking it, because there are three types of bioplastics. The first one is what they want to prepare from starch, that is food material, either from rice or from corn. The world wants to prepare from corn because it is easy to take away food from Africa. I am against preparing a plastic from food because, corn is a staple food over there. And if you take away corn, people are going to die with hunger. The second type of plastic are rotten culprits or scoundrels who would like to mix regular plastic with such starch. And it will decompose. Only the corn part of it will decompose. The plastic part of it will become powder, and that will go into the soil, which is worse than using plastic. The third type of plastic is using PLA and chemicals like that, polylactic acid, polybutyric acid, and things like that. Now, this is good enough, but it cannot compost in the home. Home composting, normally we don't increase the temperature to 60 degrees Celsius, unless it is industrial composting, where the industry takes the responsibility of taking those bags back. And in industrial composting, you can increase the temperature and bring it to around 60 degrees, where the PLA chains break, and then it becomes composting. That's far better than that. These are the three types of plastics.
Thank you, sir. There is one question which is like, COVID-19 is man-made or natural?
I would not comment on it because there are differences of opinion, and it involves countries.
Okay.
It can also be natural. So what? Because mutations can happen in nature. It can also happen in labs. There are conflicting views about it, and many people are giving it. I don't want to take any stand through this platform.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
I don't want college to go into a controversy.
Yeah, thank you, sir. There is one more question. Colistin is an antibiotic which is used as a growth promoter in food animal production when it should not be used. What are your comments on this? It's about colistin.
If it is a biological component and not a hormonal component, it can be used. But anything which is somatotropic, and if it lodges in the flesh of the animal, then anybody consuming it will also get that effect. I hope you people are aware, as quite senior people, as to how children were in the past and how children are growing physically, not physiologically, physically bigger and pronounced. Like children, when they used to come to first year graduation, how girls were in your schools, in the colleges in those days, and how the girls look like, or the boys look like. Because I still remember, probably I used the razor maybe after my entering my graduation. But today, even in class 10, these are all because of hormonal changes which take place, where the growth hormone acts and stimulates some parts of the body.
Thank you, sir. What's your opinion on using canned water?
Canned water, unless it is certified canned water. Some of the agencies who are supplying is not certified water. Actually, it is packaged drinking water. It's not canned water, packaged drinking water. It is not mineral water again, packaged drinking water. If you feel that you have a good source of water with your own self, what you have at home or you're getting from the Metropolitan Board, if you feel it is quite safe enough, it is better to boil the water and use it rather than using canned water. But if you're using canned water, if you know the source of the water, it's better even then to boil it and use it again. Canned waters, different plants are using different treatments. Some are using ozone treatment, some are using boiling treatment. So I'm not able to make a general comment about it. But at the moment, it's supposed to be safe.
Okay. Thank you, sir. The other question is, sustainable living, is it meant to control man's greed?
Sustainable living is a way of life.
Way of life. Thank you. One more question. Role of psychologist in sustainable living.
Role of?
Psychologist. That's a question from a psychology professor, Dr. Kavita Dhanraj. She's asking the role of psychologist in sustainable living.
Whether it is sustainable or non-sustainable, whether there is any problem, the role of psychologist has become very important in today's livelihood. So, my compliments to Dr. Kavita Dhanraj for that question. And the thing is, even in sustainability, once people are made to, like for example now, once you start dividing the classrooms, or the way they are going to bring in new changes in education as well as in industry, there is going to be a lot of stress. People always look at stress of the employee, but there's going to be a lot of stress on the employer. Even Mubin, if suddenly your college, the government gives a direction that the college should run the same class in 2 rooms, then you require additional staff.
Yes, sir, true.
First people who are going to scratch their heads is the management. And probably Dr. Dhanraj should be advising the correspondent and the chairman of the college very soon as to how they can control it and take the journey forward.
It's all like a question mark now.
Very important, all those aspects.
Yeah. There is one more question from Dr. Anuradha. It's like all school canteens sell pizza, burgers, biryani, and not good food like sundal, govas, and gooseberries. Can we make it mandatory, or can the government make it compulsory?
Is Dr. Anuradha from our college, JPS?
Yes, sir.
What do you sell in your canteen, Anu?
So we actually sell lime and mint. And
I fully endorse your view, Anu. But the thing is, some of the schools have started changing that pattern. Some of the schools have become very strict, and they are encouraging only products which are good enough. There are very good farmers, and there are very good people. In fact, I had also recommended one lady farmer who produces all this to your college to teach the nutrition and department once. Her name is Mrs. Menaka Tilakaraj. She prepares all this and she supplies to schools, institutions. So maybe such exposures to students first as to the advantages of it. Before you introduce a product, you must create that awareness in people. And probably we can also take the help of psychology department for it.
Sure, sir.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. There is one more question from Mr. Vasantaraja. Alternatives for chemical food preservatives.
There are lots of biological preservatives. In those days, honey was used as a preservative. There was several products, complementary fruits, which are used in preservative. Preserved food is not very good for preservation, except for urkai and things like that. I would appreciate good food and available food, fresh food, which is better than all the preserved food, even if it is going to be preserved from homes. There's a reason in Tamil Nadu culture we have this so-called adais and vattals, which are preserved with the help of a little bit of salt and sun drying.
Yes, sir.
That's always better.
Sure. There is one more question who asks, like, kindly give take-home message for corporate people.
Take-home message for corporate people. Corporate people, my first request is don't treat your home as a corporation. Many employees, they come back home, they look at the home also as a corporate sector. It is not so. Corporate people, they ignore a lot of things. They ignore timely food. They ignore a lot of things because they say that their work demands it. And then gradually they feel that they don't feel hungry. It's actually they lose their immunity by that time. So it is better that they take in good food. If not, they are not able to get, then they have good home prepared, some of this, like urundes, which our parties used to prepare and keep them safe, or even peanuts. I still remember Professor Nandakumar, who was my teacher, always used to have a box of peanuts in his room.
Okay.
And he also used to give us when we used to visit him. These are the things which would give them instant energy. And the best sweet today for children is Kadala Mithai. And I'm proud to say that our own Koilpatti has been declared as with a GI tag.
Yes, sir.
For the Kadala Mithai. So these are the best things which can happen.
Yeah, next question is by Dr. Kaushalya Kumari. She's asking, what about Kadal Pasi, which is the agar agar? Is it safe they can eat it?
I don't know where you are from, Dr. Kaushalya Kumari. You should take an appointment with your moderator, Mupin, and go to her house for a Kadal Pasi sweet. She prepares it very well.
Thank you, sir.
She's a niece to me, so ask her to prepare and give it to you. Seaweeds are being today largely used. And I have traveled many countries, especially in China, they use a lot of seaweeds. Japan uses seaweed tea. So this is all now growing a lot. Seaweed has a lot of potential. There's a big factory in Tamil Nadu which takes a lot of seaweed and extracts the pigments from materials from it and supplies it to various companies. And it's a good food. It's a good food. Or from Etraj College, which department?
Department. She hasn't mentioned it. Maybe she'll put it across now. So there's a question from Hyder Ali sir from New College. Has sperm sexing technology approved by the government?
Hyder Ali, government has already sanctioned 475 crores for it, man. So how can it not be sanctioned by the government? They have already sanctioned 475 crores for it, and they have already earmarked in different states. Kerala is going to be one of them.
Kaushalya ma'am is from History Department, sir, from Etraj College. Okay. There is one more question from Mallika, Dr. Mallika of JBS College. She's from History Department. Sir, how long and how many cycles can we use the plant pots with the decomposed vegetables?
I did not get your point.
How long and how many cycles, and the 7 cycles, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, she's asking, how long and how many cycles can we use the plant pots?
Yeah, once your pots are full, you're going to plant them and use it as plants. You will buy another 7.
Okay.
In the next cycle. The first cycle, you can empty it and then you bring them back again.
The next question is from my HOD, Amtul ma'am. With heavy load and boom on online and digital teaching, but future for repercussions on health for eyes and radiation from the e-gadgets.
That's what I mentioned, Amtul, just a few minutes. I hope you're keeping good health now. Amtul, what I mentioned was that that's what, Cascade had already proved that many children, not only affecting their eyes, many children who are showing symptoms of ASD, autism spectrum disorder, were exposed to too much of phones when they were small babies itself. The parents used to give them in their eyes. So it's not just going to affect their eyes, it may also affect their way of thinking, their neuron systems, their interaction systems, their behavior patterns. In fact, maybe I would appreciate if somebody who works on education from a department interrelates like what Kavita just asked about psychologists intervention. There's going to be a lot of intervention for psychologists. They will get so much hooked to it And within some time, we do not know whether they are really watching content or content which is not required. And moreover, the impact of these radiations, because the blue light which comes from most of the mobile phones, and most of the mobile phones which are today in the market, they radiate a lot, except the most expensive ones, which many people cannot afford. So it is going to be a problem. Yes, accept it.
The next question is by Dr. Nafisa Masood, Head of the Department of Arabic, JBS College. Sir, please recommend some natural food items to increase immunity to fight with coronavirus.
If I really can pinpoint and strike them, then I could send the fruits itself to go and directly go and hit the coronavirus. It is not so. It is your body immunity increases with more amount of vitamin C and balanced food. Like Dr. Nafisa, most of us we talk about, because we are from JBS College. I'm telling you, you talk about Islamic food and you say that Prophet said you have half stomach with food and quarter with water and quarter empty, but we fill up with the food and then even skip the water. The quantity of food and the quality of food. And my humble request is, if you can change over your food pattern, where you take equal quantity, if you are taking rice, then equal quantity of vegetables should be there. So if you are going to take a bowl of rice, take one bowl of vegetables along with it. Vegetables give a lot of immunity. That too, semi-para cooked vegetables give better immunity. Steamed vegetables give better immunity. And if you are very sure about the source of the vegetable, then raw vegetables and raw fruits give us better vegetables. Please avoid fruit juice. Fruits. Eat fruits. Not fruit juice from the market. Fruit juice from the market, which is available in big boxes. Once in a way, I'm again telling you repetitive. Once in a way, you're having it for fun, it's okay. But if you really want content, then better go in for fruits and then eat fruits rather than drinking juice.
Next question is from Azrar sir from New College. Do we have sustainable solutions for managing new waste like e-waste, biomedical waste, nuclear waste?
I mentioned about e-waste. I also told part of the biomedical waste, like those things you use, this diapers and things like that. Nuclear waste, already there are going to be leaks. And Asrar, I think, happy to see you here. Asrar was my student from second year BSc, who is now the head of the department over there in New College. Asrar, I think lots of work has to go into this, not just writing. Unfortunately, people have started writing about it, but there has been no work pertaining to it. And nuclear waste, they are trying to just hide it from the next generation by burying it deep into the soils. Maybe we are creating volcanoes for future generations. Yes, that's the reason why we have been working against nuclear energy, especially since this Kudankulam project has started. Several times the missions have gone under repair, which many of us are aware of.
Yes.
And so several groups like the Pooling in Nanbargal have been working on it.
The next question is, what drove you to be interested in nature and environmental science?
Who asked it?
I don't know the name because here the mail ID reflects as Tri Purush.
Oh my God.
It's gay
What
Tri Purush. Mail ID. With the mail ID, I need to check the Google Sheets to get his name.
What made me interested in environment?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to
It's
survive.
Gayatri. It's Gayatri.
Who, our Gayatri, is it?
No. Can you please introduce yourself, Gayatri?
It's okay, nothing. Perfectly, like what happened was I did my BSc in zoology, central zoology. And then I did my MSc zoology in the New College. At that BSc, I'm a product of New College. I'm proud to say that I'm a product of New College. And my MSc was New College zoology with fishery biology. And then when I wanted to do my MPhil, I did in 1978-79. One of the first batches of MPhil. And there I did marine biology because that was close to it. But I wanted to continue my PhD, and my supervisor, he asked me to join full time. And I was a one-day earning member. For the family. So I told my supervisor that I cannot go in for full time. I would go for part time. He said no. And he used a very strong word, get lost. And so I told him, get lost and walk away. It was good that it happened. I came back to my college, and one of my former students, who is Mubin's father, Dawood Sharif's classmate, he came to my room and said that he would like to do some research, Dr. Kalimur Rahman. He came and asked, and I asked my professor, who was also the principal, whether this boy has come, can I help him? He said, go ahead, help him. And I asked, on the way, I saw a paper lying on the floor. I picked it up. It was a circular from Ethological Society of India, Behavior Sciences. And the paper mentioned as to inviting papers on animal behavior for January 1980 at Aligarh University. So I came back. I asked this boy whether he would like to do something on animal behavior because it was July 79. He said, anything, sir. I said, okay. Then my lab assistant, Mr. Buhari, was crossing the room. I called him and I asked him what live specimens you have in the department. And he said, sir, we have earthworms. That is how my journey started with earthworms. Now, what I'm trying to tell all my faculty who are seated over here is, don't get focused on what you would like to do. Try to take what comes on your way. Sometimes God knows what to give us, rather than we trying to aim at something. So whatever comes as signals from divine or nature or whatever you may believe in, accept it and start working on it. Probably vistas open up. So once we started working on it, the whole thing went into different. That's how
it happened. Thank you, sir. There is one question from Dr. Lucky from our department. Sir, do you think online teaching can replace traditional teaching methods? How far online teaching is productive in the current pandemic scenario?
Teaching is one particular profession where I personally feel that online teaching cannot replace physical teaching.
Very true.
Teaching is one profession. Yes, certain interactions, certain components, yes, technology can be used for it. But the way a teacher contact comes in, because to my nature, with due apologies to all the counselors or psychological counselors, whoever may be coming to your college or any education institutions, I have personally felt when a child has a problem, first tries to meet the teacher on whom the child has a confidence rather than meeting a counselor. That is the relationship that is built between a teacher and a child. So physical teaching can never be replaced with so-called contact teaching. Many groups, even today's newspaper carries advertisements where many people have said that we have developed this app, my company can make it interactive. This has become now a marketing platform on education because education is going to become technology. And unfortunately, let me make it a very prominent point over here. I happened to read a newspaper report about this thing that is about our education system and what children will do with online teaching. And they're taking the opinions not from teachers and students and parents, but they have taken the opinion from chancellors of private universities, which invest a lot of money. They have enough money over there. Right? They are asking their opinion. And they are saying, we are educating 45,000 children through technology. You see, those children have paid 15 lakhs to 20 lakhs to study in your big so-called private universities. Today, many children, even in JBAS college, may not have a good smartphone. It may look like a smartphone, it may not deliver the goods, it may radiate, they cannot watch over it over a period. They may have a phone, but they may not get a data card for it. With all these limitations, maybe physical classes will dominate, some amount of technology. Who is B? Yeah, they closed it.
Yeah, I have closed it, sir.
Prasanna,
Yeah, Prasanna has a question. How to get rid of plastics completely?
You cannot completely get rid of plastics. It's impossible. At the moment, it's impossible. There is no replacement for plastic. That's the reason I have been carefully using the word judicious use of plastic. I still remember the day when my very good friend, I can use his name because he's a good friend of mine, Mr. M.B. Nirmal. He and I were attending a meeting and he gave a talk and he said, Suttama Urchanno, plastic completely removed. This, that, everything. And he sat down next to me and he said, how was my talk? I said, luckily I don't have a pair of scissors with me. He said, "Edukku scissors?" I said, "If I had the scissors, I would have cut away all your buttons, man, because all the buttons you're wearing are
Plastic.
So at the moment, I cannot say total recovery of plastics, judicious use of plastics, and yes, you can totally stop single-use plastics.
That's true. Okay, I think so. We are almost at the end of the session. Thank you so much, all the participants, and thank you, sir, for patiently answering all the questions. I now request Anuradha ma'am of our department, Assistant HOD, to propose the vote of thanks. Anu ma'am?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me, Mubin?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Respected and most distinguished guest of honor of the day, Professor Dr. Ismail, sir. Respected Principal Dr. Shahnaz Ahmed, our beloved HOD Dr. Amtul Aziz, honorable professors, colleagues, and my dear friends. As the HOD in charge of the department, I deem it a great honor to propose the vote of thanks for this webinar on sustainable living, the way forward for Earth's sake. First and foremost, I would like to thank our resource person, Dr. Sultan Ahmed Ismail, sir, for gracing today's webinar. Thank you, sir, for your interesting and thought-provoking address, and for the excellent presentations, and for making this webinar an interesting and meaningful one. Thank you once again, sir, for that mind-boggling lecture.
Thank you, ma'am.
And your lecture has blown the alarm, and it has given a red alert to us. You have not only given us the lecture on sustainable living for Earth's sake, but how to live a sustainable living for our own sake as well. Thank you, sir, for that mind-boggling lecture.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to thank our management and our principal for having provided us this opportunity and for having given us the platform to host a webinar of this sort. I'd also like to thank our HOD Dr. Amtul Aziz for her moral support and her constant guidance in all our endeavors. I would extend a heartfelt thanks to Dr. Mubin Sultana, who's been coordinating the whole event, starting from the scratch, from registrations, and being a host to the webinar today. And she has brought it to be a full-fledged webinar and has made the event a big success. Last but not least, I would like to thank all the participants for the overwhelming response and making this webinar a great event. And thank all the staff members for the cordial cooperation. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, Anuradha.
Thank you, sir.
Anuradha.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for all. Thank you to all my friends over there and all the faculty. And thanks to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Participants, now I shall be sharing the link for the e-certificate in the chat box. You can click the link and fill the form, and the certificates will be delivered to your mail ID. Hope all of you have seen the link. You just have to click the link. It's a Google form. Just fill in the form. It asks for four main details: your mail ID, your name, your institution, and your phone number. Once you fill in, within a couple of minutes, this e-certificate will be issued to your mail IDs, registered mail ID. This link will be open for another 15 minutes. Now it is 12:30. By 12:45.
Should we see in the mail, Mubin?
Yes, ma'am. You have to check the mail.
Okay.
You have to fill the link. Now the link I have posted in the chat box, ma'am. So you have to fill the link. I'll again post it here. I'll send the link once again.